Every year on this second Sunday of Lent, we get this account of the transfiguration of the Lord. We are reminded of how Jesus took those 3 disciples up a tall mountain, and there unexpectedly, that's the key word, unexpectedly was transfigured before them. Unexpectedly, they saw his glory, the glory that he would be calling them and all of us to embrace, to integrate in our lives. And of course, part of the reason why he did that was to help them as they went through the trials, the challenges, the pain, the sufferings of their life, to realize that there is more to life than just pain and trials and challenges and sufferings. They were, trust me, they were going to get it, right? When they went through his passion and death. But the Lord, which obviously as they went through that, that pain was very real. But this experience was also very real. It was a way of getting them to realize that there is more to life than meets the eye. There is more to life than some of the experiences, especially the painful ones, which we have. And just as the Lord did that to them, the Lord also wants to do the same thing to us. There's a reason why this gospel passage is here always on the second Sunday of Lent. Now, our experience of God's glory, God reveals his glory to us here and there in little glimpses, maybe not in such dramatic fashion as he did to those apostles, although you'd be surprised some of the stories that every now and then I may hear from people. But the Lord gives it to us here and there. And it's those moments when all of a sudden we see light. Everything becomes much clearer, and we are filled with, new perspectives, and we can sense very strongly the presence of God. Interestingly, anytime that happens, it always happens unexpectedly. God always reveals his glory to us unexpectedly. We cannot manipulate it. As Peter did, as soon as you can't blame the guy. What he saw was awesome. And, as he did on that mountain, he says, Lord, let me build 3 tents here. Let me hang on to this thing so it'll last forever. But of course, it doesn't. And it's interesting. You've heard that saying, right? You've heard that saying, no one can see the face of God and live. That's actually scriptural. And you know why that is? You know why God doesn't give us a whole chunk of his glory while we are going through, our life down here? Is because if we experienced more of God's glory, or we experienced it in its fullness, we would lose the will to live down here. If we experienced the glory of God, life would be absolutely unbearable. It would be horrendous torture to get through life. Believe me, far more than we already experience it to be. The Lord knows how to reveal his glory, and clearly we're going to experience the fullness of it when we pass on to his eternal glory. But in the meantime, the reason God gives us those little moments is to help us realize that there's more to reality in our lives than meets the eye. That there's more to what is real than just our challenges, our trials, our pain. I remember years ago, I had a very good woman who came to see me. She was going through, a tough time. And as she was telling me all about her problems and this and that, she mentioned, well, Father, the thing is that my problem is that I'm insecure. And, I was thinking to myself, well, how does that make you different from anybody else? but she kept bringing it up, and yeah, because, and of course this and that, because I'm insecure, and, and that, because I'm insecure. And after she mentioned it for like the 5th time, I remember that I said to her, I said, okay, dear, listen. I said, you're insecure. I said, so what? I said, that doesn't fully define you. You're a lot more than insecure. I'll never forget, she said to me, well, that's what my therapist tells me. And I said, well, you should listen to her, And listen, that's true of all of us. Whatever it is, whatever that label is, or whatever that condition, or whatever that handicap, or whatever that foible is, we're a lot more than that. I'm a diabetic. Oh, you are. You better be aware, so you don't complicate your life. But guess what? You're a lot more than a diabetic. I had somebody say to me recently, no, because I'm on the spectrum. I thought to myself, yeah, so am I. That's probably debatable. I said, so what? I said, that doesn't define you, whatever that means. I'm this, or I'm that, or I'm, or I was, I had to go through this, or I had to go through that. Real, clearly we have to know how to manage those things. But guess what? There's a lot more to our identity. There's a lot more to life than whatever it is that is on the forefront of our consciousness. And the beauty is that God is there. God is there, and there is life, as he showed those apostles on Mount Tabor. There's life beyond all that stuff that we go through. So, hopefully as we go through our Lenten journey, right? The penance that we take on, whatever it is we're trying to do for Lent, helps us to all the more have an awareness of God's glory. Help us to all the more realize that there is more to our life, to ourselves, than meets the eye as we continue to make our own climb up Mount Tabor. May the Lord help us to all the more be attuned to his glory. May the Lord help us to not be just defined by what it is that we drag with us, what it is we bear, and we be aware that there's a lot more glory in ourselves, in our lives, than meets the eye.